moving on to the running backs, we got, again, the same thing. This is voted on by execs, coaches, and scouts. Christian McCaffrey at number 1, no surprise. Breece Hall at 2, Nick Chubb at 3, Saquon Barkley at 4, Jonathan Taylor at 5, Bijan Robinson at 6, Josh Jacobs at 7, Jahmyr Gibbs at 8, Derrick Henry at 9, and Travis Etienne at 10.
Okay, so my list is very different.
Derrick Henry at 9 is absurd.
My list is very. I'm just gonna go ahead and give my list. I'll give a couple of insights as I go along. I'm gonna keep it quick because running backs are a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
So I got Christian McCaffrey at 1. That's shirt up. I have Derrick Henry at 2. I'm not really sure why he's 9. I mean, yeah,
unless they're factoring in his age and whatnot, but even so, he was still second in the league in rushing yards last year.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry is still that dominant back. I mean, we'll see in Baltimore.
You better hope he's not that dominant.
I don't feel like he won't be what he will not be what he was with the Titans. Yeah. But I do still think Derrick Henry is a good back. I got Nick Chubb here at 3 because going into last year, I think Nick Chubb had arguments to be the best running back.
I had him at 1 last year.
So Nick Chubb is an insane running back. If he comes back off his knee, Nick Chubb is a very, very... Nick Chubb is one of the last of the, RB...
him and Derrick Henry.
You run your offense through this guy, Nick Chubb's nasty. I got Breece Hall at 4. And I actually just talked to you last night, and we were talking fantasy-wise, but I think it still applies even in the actual game of football. Breece Hall and then Bijan at 5. Take your pick between the two of them. I don't really know. Personally, I think Bijan is a better athlete and more I think Bijan is a better athlete, but I think Breece Hall has actually done more. I mean, I know Bijan's only a rookie, but I just...
he's been in the league long.
I mean, not...
Towards ACL's rookie year, and had a really good last year.
Breece has only been in the league 2 or 3 years, right? So so it's really not been that much longer. But, I mean, take your pick between the two of them. That's 4 and 5. I got Saquon at 6. I think Saquon Barkley is also another one of those guys where you run your offense through him.
He can be.
And I think there is a chance that him to Philadelphia will have a similar impact that McCaffrey to 49ers did.
Good.
I think that Saquon is still a very good back. He's young. He's getting a massive upgrade in offensive line, and there's other weapons around him, so it's not just him.
The offense isn't focused around him.
Exactly. So I think Barkley to the Eagles could have a similar impact that McCaffrey to the Niners.
I didn't say his name, did I?
Barkley?
Yeah.
Saquon? Yeah, you said Saquon.
I did.
Yeah,
he's
okay.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's at 4.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, I didn't. Okay, yeah.
And then I got Jonathan Taylor at 7.
GT.
I think he's still a great back, even though last year was injuries and stuff. I think the thing that you have to look at with running backs, though, is that
they're gonna get hurt.
Number one, they're gonna get hurt, and most of the time, running backs that have a unbelievable year heavily drop off and don't really.
It's not guaranteed that they're gonna have that kind of production.
Like Jonathan Taylor had an unreal year, huge drop off, didn't really return to that. Might not return to that.
Last year when he played, he was similar to 2021.
He'll get I think that he'll get close to that, but I think for running backs, you get one dominant breakout year, and then after that, it's not coming back to that. You know what I'm saying? They might get close, but it's not going to be back to that level. Like Jonathan Taylor. Like I made an argument for Jonathan Taylor a couple of years ago that he should have been the MVP.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. I was on that train. I was on that train too. Yeah.
But I don't think that he will return to an MVP level play.
No, I don't think so either.
And I think that's what you see with running backs, except for McCaffrey and Henry. But then I got Etienne at 8. I think Etienne is a utility back. I really like him a lot. I think he's clear RB1 for Jacksonville. He's a very talented guy. Pacheco at 9. Pacheco flies under the radar a little bit, but I think he's a really, really good back for the Chiefs. And then I got Josh Jacobs at 10. Who was the running back that we were talking about like a second ago?
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams. And I think this is also somewhat due to... I will give Kyron a shout-out. Kyron Williams is a really good back. But I think that for some reason, with the Rams, you get one good year, and after that, you're phased out.
It's the what's his name?
Gurley?
Todd Gurley. Yeah, Todd Gurley. I was gonna say Tony Pollard, then I was like, no.
Speaking of
like
Gurley,
you get like I don't know why this is how it goes, but this is how it goes with the Rams. And, I mean, from a fantasy perspective, Kyren Williams is going in, like, the second round. I know we're not talking about fantasy, but Kyren Williams goes, like, late first, early second. No way. No way.
I don't know. He's a touchdown merchant. He scores points.
Oh, trust me. I know. I had him last year.
You know of everyone. He scores points.
And this is what I'm saying. I know of everybody, but I would not take him that high. And the reason that is because just for some reason, you get one good year, and then after that, it's not as good, and you're phased out with the Rams. Todd Gurley, Cam Akers, and now Kyren Williams. I
forgot about Cam Akers. You're right. It was COVID year, but he was going crazy.
I'm just you get one great year out of a Ram back, and then they're phased out, and then they're traded. Cam Akers had a great year, and then immediately after that, he got phased out. Now he's not even on the team. Yeah. And the dude's like 25 years old. Yeah. Like, I mean, he's still like, I don't know what happened, you know? Same thing happened with Todd Gurley. So Kyren Williams is, yes, he scores points. He's a touchdown merchant. He's a great running back. But I just, for some reason, with the Los Angeles Rams, that's how it goes. Will that happen? I hope not. I like Kyren Williams. He's a good back. But that's just how it goes. Yeah. So I don't know, you know?
What's that Todd Gurley stat where he's like still leading the NFL in like rushing touchdowns or something? Or like, have you seen that?
No, I don't know what stat you're talking
There's
about.
a stat where he's like, and like the last like 5 years, he's like leading the NFL in some sort of stat, and he hasn't played in 3 of those years.
Yeah, Todd Gurley had an unreal stretch with the Rams.
I forget what stat it was, though. It's going to be annoying.
I think it's partially a running back thing because outside of McCaffrey and Henry and like Chubb, I mean Brees and Bijan are young, but like a lot of these, well, I don't know. Even Saquon, I don't know. I guess these guys are probably for the most part okay, but like a lot of times I think what you see with running backs is they just tend to get phased out after like 1 or 2 good seasons. Right. You know, like they are consistently good for a couple of seasons, but they kind of get phased out even though they're still young. I mean, like I just said, I mean, Cam Akers is today like 25. I don't even know if he's on a team. Because he was on the Vikings. He was on the Vikings last year. They traded him to the Vikings. I don't even know if he's on a team. Like, I mean, and the dude's in his mid-20s. Like, I mean...
He had injuries, but I get what you're saying.
Like, it's just... The running back position in the NFL is a weird position outside of a couple of workhorse guys. But particularly...
Yeah, Cam Akers is a free agent right now.
But see, like, the running back situation as a whole, outside of a few workhorses, is weird. But the situation for running backs is particularly weird in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because you get a guy that has a phenomenal season, and then they are just immediately like a backup. And then the next year after that, they're not even on the team.
Yeah. It's weird.
I don't know why, but that's why. And like I said, from a fantasy perspective, I'm cautious with Kyren, especially at his ADP, because, I mean, it happened with Gurley, it happened with Akers.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they had one great year. The next year, they're a backup. The year after that, they aren't even on the team.
Yeah. Where do you have Gibbs?
I am shocked.
I was going to say, I feel like Gibbs should be on.
I would probably put Gibbs at like 11. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't think about him in the top 10.
That's crazy.
I would put him, if he was in my top 10, I would put him at 9 or 10. Because I'm not taking him over McCaffrey, Henry, Chubb, Hall, Robinson, Barkley, Taylor, or Etienne at this current time. I would be convinced to take it. I would probably take him above Pacheco. So I guess you could put him at 9. But Josh Jacobs, I think, is still at 10. I think Jacobs deserves 10. Only one, you boot out Pacheco, you put in Gibbs. I'd be okay with that.
All right. My list, I think we have our top 3 the exact same. I have CMC 1, Derrick Henry 2, Nick Chubb 3. I have Saquon at 4. I think he's got more experience. He's got more elite seasons. I expect him to explode this year with Philadelphia with that.
So you agree with me on like my Niners?
He very well could be similar. I've got Breece Hall at number 5. I think Breece Hall's really good. He just is on a terrible team with no support, at least quarterback-wise. I mean, he's had Zach Wilson as quarterback, so it's like...
I'm pretty sure they averaged, like, the lowest amount of points, like, by an offense.
Zach Wilson... There's not a whole lot of times that a quarterback single-handedly holds an elite team back. The quarterback is single-handedly holding the elite.
Well, he's not even there anymore.
Yeah, he's not. I have Josh Jacobs at number 6. He had a bunch of injury concerns, but it's pretty similar to Saquon. I expect him to have a really good year with the Packers. I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 7. I cannot believe that you do not have Jahmyr. Jahmyr Gibbs.
You're putting him over Taylor and Robinson?
Absolutely. Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 most explosive player in the NFL, period, including receivers. Like, there's not, I don't know if there's a single running back on this list that I'm more confident in taking an inside zone of the house than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
He is a home run hitter last year. Yeah. He is going to be easily top 5, barring injury.
Started using him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I wasn't more high on him, because he didn't even get used until like halfway through the season.
Yeah.
But when he did, he was phenomenal.
He
was really good in the playoffs, too.
He is a home run hitter. Like, he is... he's like similar to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, in running back, since like any play that he has an involvement in, he could take it to the house. He's that good. I expect him to be top 5, potentially top 3 after this season. I think he's that good. I have Bijan at number 8. Bijan's also really good, but I don't think he had... I know he had like more rushing yards, but
I like Bijan a lot.
I like Bijan a lot too.
I'm a fan of Bijan. I like Bijan a lot. I think Bijan's really freaking good.
I think that I know Jahmyr Gibbs had a better O-line, but the Falcons O-line is good too. So I don't think you can like.
He also had the worst head coach in the history of all football at all ages.
Yeah, he did do that when they just didn't let Bijan play that one game for whatever reason. Sorry to bring that back up because I think you lost a fantasy game off that.
He did,
because Bijan just didn't. Arthur Smith didn't play him.
He got like a half a point.
They didn't disclose that he had the flu at all, like going into that week, and that he was just sick.
That's when I fully was on board the I hate Arthur Smith train.
Yeah, he's so bad.
I got Bijan at number 8. He's young. I expect him to be really good in the near future. I have Jonathan Taylor at number 9. I hate that I'm putting him at number 9, but
I'm shocked that you are.
Yeah, I mean he has had injury issues. He has had real injury concerns.
So is Breece Hall. Breece Hall's 4.
Yeah, but Breece Hall's younger. And
Breece
he also
Jonathan Taylor's not that old.
I know Jonathan Taylor's not that 26 is not young for a running back.
I wouldn't say that's old.
I wouldn't say it's old
Derrick
either.
Henry's 31.
Derrick Henry's an anomaly. Derrick Henry could potentially be a Hall of
Chubb's
Famer.
late 20s. Christian McCaffrey's
for running backs.
For most running backs, you peak in your early 20s and fall off around 27, 28.
Yeah, like 27, 28 is usually their cap.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, I hope he gets back to 2021 JT. If he gets back to 2021 JT, the Colts could be really freaking good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the O-line was good. When he played last year, he was similar to 2021 in terms of efficiency because his O-line was better. And he could find more holes.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he has real injury concerns. Like, he's missed, 6+ games the past 2 years. And then I have Kyron Williams at 10. He was 3rd in the league in rushing yards last year, behind CMC and Derrick Henry.
I got him in free agency.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave Kyron Williams off this list. I could very well see where he falls off because it is a Rams thing where it's like you have one dominant year and then you just can't replicate that success. We talked about Travis Etienne. If Travis Etienne kept his week 1 through 7 pace for the rest of the year, I'd have him on here, but he fell off hard second half of the year last year. The Jags in general fell off hard second half of the season last year.
Still pretty good.
He was good. He had 1,100 rushing yards.
I mean, he wasn't scoring 37 points a game like he was, but Travis Etienne was pretty dang good.
He was
last
good.
year.
I have him at. I don't have him ranked. I just have him in my honorable mentions.
No, Etienne deserves to be ranked for sure.
I just prefer all these
out of the guys that I ranked, I would boot Pacheco and put Gibbs in. Other than that, I think those guys. I mean,
I don't have Etienne. Who did you have? You don't have Kyron Williams, and I have Kyron Williams. I think that's probably.
I had Kyron at 11, but we just had this discussion.
Yeah.
I would have.
I'm also gonna give a shout out to James Conner. He is criminally underrated. He just gets no attention because he plays for the Cardinals.
What
are our thoughts on James Cook?
James Cook. I have him in my honorable mentions too.
Particularly going into what are we thinking here this year? Because he's the only. I mean, he owns that backfield.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think he's perfect for what the Bills need because he's really good in the passing game and he's an efficient runner as well. Like he's not like a bell cow back. But he's a guy that I think can complement Josh Allen's game very well because Josh Allen he was their leading rusher for the majority of his career, which is bad. And so I think he did take the pressure off of Josh Allen and he played really well and I think as he continues to
I think he could be 12 range probably.
Yeah, I'd say he's in the top 15, but I don't think he's at 10. But I think he could be really good. I think he could be really good. He complements what the Bills have very well.
I think you put Pacheco and Gibbs and Kyron probably above him right now. But other than that, I would probably put him at 14.
Yeah, he's in my honorable mentions. And then the last honorable mention is Alvin Kamara.
He was
that's
sneaky
fair.
good.
Yeah, he was sneaky good last year. That's why we're not talking about him because he's aged and like he plays for the Saints, but he was really good last year as well. He had a bit of a career resurgence last year. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Oh, I have Tony Pollard here as well, just because he had over 1,000
now we'll
yards.
see with him.
He was disappointing.
Yeah, he was, but he still had over 1,000 yards rushing.
Once again, though, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see how he does.
We'll see what he does in Tennessee because he's got Tajay Spears.
Tajay Spears was good.
So he doesn't own that backfield. I think that's going to be a committee.
Yeah, they'll split it.
So it'll be interesting to see. How that goes.
My list is basically the same as your guys'. What is it? CMC number 1, Derrick Henry at 2, Nick Chubb at 3, Saquon at 4, Breece Hall 5, Bijan 6. 7 I have Jacobs at 8. Then I have Taylor at 9 and 18 at 10. So basically,
we had pretty similar lists. Yeah,
same. I mean, really, after you get off of like
the top 3 or 4,
I would say 6. I would say top 6.
Yeah, well, it's like you got the guys who are like seasoned like vets who have like careers been like really good, and then you have 3 guys who had just got off their first year playing.
Yeah.
Who have very high ceilings and are also very good. Like I think Breece Hall, I think he's gonna be like they have him at 2 right now.
That's a little high.
That's probably just because of his age.
But they're basing it off of potential and probably what he could do this year.
Yeah.
Because you think with Aaron Rodgers, like the offensive efficiency is going to skyrocket.
They also beefed up that O-line too.
They brought in Olu, and then they got Morgan Moses and another tackle. So yeah, they're trying to beef up that O-line.
I think they got Tyron Smith, didn't they?
Yeah, Tyron Smith. So yeah, the O-line's improved, and now you have Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams if he's healthy. So there's like more weapons around there. So I think Breece is gonna thrive with Aaron Rodgers because he's a phenomenal pass catcher. He's a really good runner as well. And I mean, he had that ACL injury, but it didn't. I mean, he started week 1, and it didn't really seem to slow him down a whole lot. I mean, he had a phenomenal season. So I think the reason why they had him at 2 is probably just on future projections. And then I hope Nick Chubb comes back good because he tore every ligament.
That's what I'm saying. The Browns won 11 games last year. I think they went 11-6 without Nick Chubb for the entire season. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that Browns team outside of Deshaun Watson is loaded. They also just got Jerry Jeudy too. We'll talk about them more when we do our season predictions in a few weeks.
Yeah, but I hope that Nick Chubb can because I like Nick Chubb. He's a good dude. And then Saquon, it'll be interesting to see him with the Eagles. Him and Jalen Hurts just running the ball every single play. I wonder if that's going to hurt, like, A.J. Brown is, like, fantasy. Because they're probably just going to run the ball every single time. Well, I mean, the real problem is going to be the Saquon and Jalen Hurts, like, touchdown.
Yeah. How they split those.
Yeah. Well, because I'm telling you.
I mean, they don't have Jason Kelsey, so we'll see if the tush push is as effective as it was.
I would probably say Jalen Hurts is going to steal a lot of touchdowns from Saquon.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Well, then, I mean, talking about Bijan, like, he had Arthur Smith, obviously, we all know how we feel about him. But he was, like, he's more of a run-first guy, but he didn't really utilize Bijan to the way that he should have been utilized. Like, Bijan, I think, is that type of running back where he's kind of like a Derrick Henry and like a Nick Chubb guy, where he's kind of like you build your offense around him.
Yeah,
like when he hits his peak, like that's what I think he'll be. I mean, still 976 rushing yards isn't too shabby. But it just didn't really have the touchdowns because they gave it to Tyler Algier for some stupid reason. But
why?
I have no idea. But now you got Kirk, and then you have Raheem Morris, who is from the Rams, and like you said, the Rams, they've produced pretty good running backs recently. So I think they're going to be a well balanced team. I think they're going to run the ball a little bit, but like we've seen, Bijan is super explosive. He that one play where he literally like juked the crap out of that one guy.
Yeah, it was in Atlanta and London.
Yeah,
was it against the Jaguars or was that?
Yeah, like. He's
Bijan's nasty.
He's a top 10. There's a reason why he got picked where he got picked, because he's a top talent.
Yeah,
and then
I like Bijan.
And then I mean Gibbs, that 200 monster with him and David Montgomery. They both complement each other great because Montgomery is more of like a power goal line back, and Gibbs is kind of your all around back. But I would like to see
Gibbs needs to be used more, though.
Yeah, hopefully they use Gibbs more how they used him the back half of the season, which I think Dan Campbell kind of realized. This kid's actually pretty good.
Top 5, probably.
Yeah, and then Derrick Henry will see how I do with the Ravens. I pray that he just sucks.
I would love to see him fall off.
You better pray that he has a step back.
Because him and Lamar.
I think he will.
I don't really want to.
Yeah, he's 31. Father Time is undefeated.
I don't want to play him and Lamar twice a year.
That's not
especially with the Bengals' bad rushing defense. I do not want to play them twice a year.
Yeah, I think I'm not quite as terrified of that as like you two might be. I think
he's
Derrick
really freaking good.
I think Derrick Henry is going to take a step back, and I also know that when the Bengals played him in Tennessee, it was not a huge issue.
Yeah, but we also did.
That was when he had a good run defense, though.
All of our run defenders.
Yeah.
But we've said that Derrick Henry's going to slow down, and he hasn't yet.
That's true.
So he's
Derrick Henry's slowing down.
He's
going from 2,000 yards to 1,200.
Yeah, like he's pushing 31. He's almost 31, and he's still averaging 1,000 yards. All right.
Is it time for the
receivers?
Wide receivers. I was not expecting you to shout out James Conner. That came out of left field. I was not expecting that.
James Conner. He doesn't get any attention, but he's consistently like 1,000-yard rusher, like 8-touchdown guy every year.
Gets hurt all the time.
Yeah.
The wide receiver one's going to be interesting because I don't really have a lot of changes from that.
There's a lot of good wide receivers. I did 20 wide receivers.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good wide receivers.
I'm not sitting here to talk about 20.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm hungry as freaking balls.
That's okay.
All right, wide receivers. Number 1, Justin Jefferson. Number 2, Tyreek Hill. Number 3, Jamar Chase. Number 4, CeeDee Lamb. Number 5, Devontae Adams. Number 6, A.J. Brown. Number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 8, Mike Evans. Number 9, Stephon Diggs. Number 10, Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I really didn't make – I made 2 changes to this list.
Yeah,
I feel that list is really pretty solid. I mean,
I would just tweak a couple.
I made 2 changes. The first change that I'll say is I flipped Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown. I think Amon-Ra is better than A.J. Brown. So I got Amon-Ra at 6 right now. And the only other change that I made was... Wait, no. What? Say back 7. Tell me 7 through 10 again.
Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, and Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, yeah. I switched to Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown. And then I think at number 10, there's a lot of guys here. There's a lot of really good receivers, like you said. There's a lot of guys that I think could be put at this 10 spot. The 2 that I mainly landed on, debate-wise, was Ayuk and DJ Moore. So I did a slash between those 2. Whichever one you prefer, that's the one that goes there.
Fair enough.
But other than that, I mean, seriously, I think this list is fine. I mean, Justin Jefferson, look at the year statistically speaking, it wasn't a phenomenal year, but everyone knows he's the best receiver in the league.
He was still a 1,000-yard receiver, and he missed
play the
games.
whole season.
Yeah. Everyone knows that Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in this league.
And he had Josh Dobbs thrown to him.
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing. Is he going to fall off statistically wise this year because of McCarthy? Personally, I think he will. I don't think he's going to have 2,000. I don't think he's going to have like 2,000.
Well, I don't think so either, but
He'll get over 1,000.
yeah, he'll get easily over 1,000.
Yes, but I don't think it's going to have. He won't repeat his offensive player of the year. I don't think, because I do seriously think that J.J. McCarthy is going to be worse than Kirk Cousins.
Well, yeah.
Well, obviously.
So, but no, Justin Jefferson's still the best receiver in this league. Everybody knows that. Tyreek Hill. He had a historical season last year.
Yeah, he did.
And Tyreek Hill is a great receiver. He's 30 years old.
Uh-huh.
So that's going to catch up with him, I think, sooner rather than later.
But as of right now,
because of what he did last year,
you can't possibly have him lower than 2. He was on pace for over 2,000 yards.
Because of what he did last year, 2 is respectable. But I do think that
ESPN's put their reasoning. It was like Tyreek Hill at 2. The reason is simple. He wrecks a game plan.
Yeah,
he does. He takes the top off of defense.
Yeah, but I do think that him being 30 is gonna start to get there, and it's kind of crazy, honestly. I mean, the fact that he's already 30 is just kind of
back-to-back 1,700-yard campaigns. Holy crap!
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying last year.
I don't know why I didn't see that.
And last year he missed 2 games towards the back half of the year.
Well, yeah, because he was on pace to break 1,000.
Yeah, he was on pace to break 2,000 yards.
That's crazy. Yeah, so Tyreek Hill at 2 is totally fair. But like I said, I do think the age is going to catch up sooner rather than later. Jamar Chase at 3. I think that's a pretty easy one too. We've watched him play. I mean, we know Jamar Chase is a solidified wide receiver 1. He is a top 3 in the league. I mean, Jamar Chase is a phenomenal.
He's phenomenal. Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen him play, and I think if Tyreek Hill wouldn't have did what he did last year, I'd have him at 2. So I mean, Jamar Chase is an awesome receiver. He is awesome. So CeeDee Lamb at 4. I wish that I could have put him higher. CeeDee Lamb is really freaking good, but I can't put him above Hill, Jefferson, or Chase. Adams at 5 is totally fair because Adams was 1, 2, or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Devontae Adams
he was in contention for 1 last year, to be truthfully honest.
Exactly.
He's just stuck on the Raiders.
He's on a god-awful football team with the worst quarterback scenario in the league, maybe. So, I mean, it's just unfortunate for him, but he is easily a top 5 receiver in this league. I think Amon-Ra is better than A.J. Brown. I said that a couple seconds ago. I am a huge fan of Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra St. Brown
Amon-Ra is a freak.
Amazingly good.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown's really good too, but I'm taking Amon-Ra.
A.J. Brown, didn't he started off really good, right?
Yes.
And then he kind of
slowed down.
The whole Eagles as a whole last year.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year he was like otherworldly.
Yeah.
Like he had like multiple games with over 100 yards.
Yeah, he did. He was nasty, but the Eagles as a whole fell off. I'm still taking Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra St. Brown played the entire year last year with a torn oblique off his bone. And he still still put up
1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns.
An unreal campaign. Amon-Ra St. Brown is an amazing receiver. He is so good. He'll crack top 5 very soon, I think. And then Mike Evans is the definition of consistency.
Hall of Famer.
He
will be in the Hall of Fame.
Mike Evans is undoubtedly a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
He has had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. And everyone thought last year he was going to take a step back because of Baker Mayfield. He took a step up.
He had one of the best years of his career last year.
And he's 30.
You could make an argument.
And he's 30.
You could make an argument he should be higher, truthfully.
I wouldn't even complain with him being higher. But no, Mike Evans is an undoubtable Hall of Famer. He is one of the best receivers that we have seen play in our NFL.
He's this decade's Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really good.
I'm a huge Mike Evans fan. I really like him a lot. Stephon Diggs at 9. This one's tough.
I feel like after 8 it kind of drops off.
Because Stephon Diggs is very consistent. But I think that he dropped off a little last year. And I'm not totally sold that he's going to be the same guy in Houston either. He's 30 years old. He stepped down a little bit. I could almost leave him off this list, to be full honest with you. But for the sake of his whole career and the consistency that he's been in, I don't have him off the list. But and the consistency that he started out the year with last year. But he took a step back, and I think that will continue in Houston. I don't know if I see him being the Diggs that we saw in the Bills 2 or 3 years ago in Houston.
Yeah, and his last year in Minnesota. So.
Yeah. He's 30 years old. You know, that's what it is. And like I said, number 10 with Brandon Ayuk or DJ Moore. Number 10 is a hard spot. There's a lot of really
good receivers.
There's a lot of really good receivers that deserve to be at number 10. So number 10, honestly, in my opinion, is take your pick. Between Ayuk, DJ Moore, and honestly, whoever else that could be in that discussion, take your pick. Yeah. So that's my top 10. It's tough though. It's tough. Outside of 1, 2, 3, and 4, it started to get a little tough for me.
There's just a lot of receiver talent.
Yeah, the receivers are just insane this year. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and 4 were easy. 5 was like, yeah, probably Devontae Adams, and then 6, the lines get blurred a little bit from 5 onward. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are set. 5 and onward, it gets a little bit blurrier, but there's just so many phenomenal receivers.
For sure.
That's my point.
Do you want to do your list or?
Sure.
All right.
Justin Jefferson, number 1, obviously. Only played 10 games, had 68 catches, 1,074 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And this is kind of a cool stat. Since 2020, his debut, Jefferson leads all receivers in yards per game with 98.4 and most 100-yard games with 29. That's pretty But yeah, he's just overall the best overall wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, he was hurt and then still had 1,000 yards in only 10 games is insane. Without Kirk Cousins, he had like Josh Dobbs and other quarterbacks. Throwing in the ball. And he's just that good. He's
QB proof.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of receivers in the league that are QB proof, and he's one of them.
He's just phenomenal. Tyreek Hill too. I mean, you mentioned it. Back-to-back 1,700-yard campaigns. He could take the top off of a defense like you said. You can't game plan really against him. He's a game changer. He's phenomenal, and
it's very hard to take him away or slow him down. You really can't.
No,
you can slow him down. It's hard to slow him down.
Yeah, like he was on pace for 2,000 yards, but he got hurt for 2 games, and that's why he didn't get it. But he was going to get that. Jamar at 3. The only reason that he's not as high is just because Burrow wasn't healthy. He had Jake Browning for most of the season, but even with Jake Browning,
number 3 is about as high as it's going to get.
Some people. You said you would have him at 2 if you had.
If I would have him at 2 if Tyreek Hill didn't have almost 2,000 yards last year.
Yeah, well, I feel like some people are whatever. I mean, even with Jake Browning, and he was injured at times. He had 100 catches, 1,200 yards. One of the best talents in the NFL. Like the 1, 2, and 3 are all just S tier receivers.
Well, and I think you say there's not a lot of receivers that are quarterback proof. I think Jamar Chase might be one of them too. Jamar Chase put up a more impressive stat line than Jefferson did last year, even, and he played over half the year with Jake Browning.
Yeah, he also
missed
less games.
Oh, that's true, I guess. Yeah,
he missed.
But still speaking though,
yeah,
Jefferson and Chase probably would have had relatively similar years last year, statistically speaking.
Yeah, but you can't doubt his talent. He's undoubtedly third. For CeeDee Lamb, he again phenomenal season. He was second in the NFL in yards, only behind Tyreek Hill. First Cowboy.
First in receptions, too.
Yeah, first in receptions with 135. First Cowboy receiver with 1,700 or more yards in a season. He's just gotten better every single year, and he's S tier. He's great. After the catch, he's just phenomenal. And then still have Devontae Adams at 5 because, he's been number 1 for so long. And just off of pure talent-wise, he's still one of the talented receivers in the NFL.
If you take him off the Raiders, it's not even a question.
Even at age 31. I know the Jets keep trying to get him, but if he were to ever go to the Jets, he would probably be higher.
Yeah.
But the Raiders just suck. They don't have good quarterback. His quarterbacks...
Or Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, brother.
His quarterbacks for the last 2 or 3 years has been Jimmy G, Derek Carr, and Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
So, that's terrible.
You could see the frustration in receiver, too.
You cannot possibly have a worse drop-off quarterback-wise than Aaron Rodgers to those 3.
Oh, yeah. And then 6 is Amon-Ra. He's had since being in the league, he hasn't gone under. He's had 90-plus receptions. He broke out this past year with 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, 164 receptions, or 119 receptions.
Oh, that was nice. Second round, too.
Yeah. He's one of the biggest reasons why the...
Why did we let him get the team that he did last year?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
13-1 is some actual crap.
And winning the championship by 60.
Yeah.
But he's one of the...
Did you see the trophies displayed in my room with our plaques on it?
Yeah, the one that has my name on it as well.
With the massive asterisks.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Asterisk, I can't say that on the pod.
It should be Hunter on that trophy, I'm telling you.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, he's just one of the most consistent receivers in the NFL, and he's just getting better. He's only 24. He's had 13 games with 100-plus receiving yards in the past 2 seasons, which is tied for third most in the NFL during that time span. He's just an all-around receiver, phenomenal route runner, great after the catch. He can jump with as well. He's not like a huge jump ball guy, but
yeah, Amon-Ra's not really like a
50-50 guy.
No, because he's only 6 foot.
Yeah,
but he's tough.
He's a route runner.
He's tough.
Yeah.
He's fast and he's a route runner.
Yeah,
for sure.
But he's phenomenal. Super fun to watch. Then 7, A.J. Brown. He started off the year nuclear. Then he kind of calmed down, but he's just a freak of nature. I mean, 6'1", 226, and runs. What's his 40 time? Like a 4 something.
Yeah.
AJ Brown, yeah, he's fast as crap. He AJ Brown is a freak.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back yards with basically 1,500 yards. He had seven touchdowns last year. He's a freak. He's fast. He's big. You really can't really guard him very well just because of how his
stature.
Yeah,
He's just such a
rare
powerful
blend of
receiver.
excellent size, athleticism, and skill. That is pretty much him. And then Mike Evans, Mr. Consistency. He has had 1,000 yards every year of his career, his 4th career season with over 1,200 yards. And he led the NFL with 13 touchdowns. At his age,
Behind the NFL.
I had him too.
I don't know. In his age 30 season, I mean, he's just like I said, he's just Mr. Consistency. He's always been.
Because everyone thought he was going to take a step off, and I thought, he'll be all right.
Well, let's take a flyer on him. Yeah, let's see.
Well, I took him about that the 4th round.
Because he was.
I figured he'd still be solid.
Because he
I
was.
didn't think he'd do that.
Because he was 30, going from Tom Brady to Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
Which is totally valid, but I was like, 4th round, I think he'll be solid.
Yeah. But he's, I mean, just Mr. Consistent. He's, like I said, definitely Hall of Famer. He had his best year last year, and he deserves to be on this list. 9, I'd probably say Stephon Diggs as well. He's lower, like, because he just wasn't.
Diggs was hard to put
He didn't really like do anything that I was like, okay, this is like warrants like a good like top 10 ranking. But I mean, it's still Stephon Diggs. I think he'll be all right in Houston. I don't know if I don't think he's gonna return to like top 5, top 6 guy. But
I think
he in Texas or in Houston, he doesn't have to be like the wide receiver one because they have so many weapons. And with the Bills, like they didn't have anybody except him and Allen. So the Texans, they have obviously Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz and stuff. So he doesn't have to be this overwhelming wide receiver one. I mean, at age 30, it's unrealistic for him to be this wide receiver one that you can just kind of build your offense around.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be fine because I mean he's still super productive, like you said. Great route runner. He's always been pretty good. So I think
I think the main reason though for me having him on like 9 is just because, like you said, because it's Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, because overall you look at what he's done as a player throughout his whole career. It's tough to not have him in the top 10, but it was also kind of tough to rank that because it's like I wasn't really impressed last year.
Yeah.
You know.
And then 10, I mean, I think Brandon Ayuk's fine there. I mean, he had 1,300 yards last year. He was great for the Niners. But we'll see what he had just requested a trade.
He requested a trade.
That doesn't mean that the Niners are going to honor that, but
They don't intend to.
no. So
That baffles my mind.
So he could be on the move, which could change how he plays, but.
Yeah, depending on if they do trade him and depending where he goes, that would change things. I think maybe.
But I mean, after last year, breakout year, he was phenomenal.
Because I don't think that Brandon Ayuk is like an overwhelming force of a receiver that no matter what team he goes to, he's going to be the guy. No. Like Jefferson, Hill, Chase, Lamb, Adams, even Brown, St. Brown and Brown probably, I guess even. Like all of those guys are like guys where it's like it don't matter what team they're on, they're the guy, you know.
And then my honorable mention, I'm just going to say one, is Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
With Zach Wilson as his quarterback, he's had over 1,000 yards both seasons when the offensive efficiency has been the worst in the league by far. And now, hopefully, with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, I think that's obviously going to improve. And I think we're going to see him in the top 10 after next season. I think he'll be in the top 10, and I think he's probably have a pretty good year. I expected him to have a good year last year, but Aaron Rodgers went down immediately.
The year that
he wasn't able to, but I think with Aaron Rodgers looking healthy, I think Garrett Wilson's going to have that breakout year that we expected him to have last year, and I think he's going to be in this top 10 list come next year.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the year we thought we would see last year, I think is the year we'll see this year. Yeah, it's like Because last year was really just such a weird year.
It was.
I mean,
Unfortunate for quarterbacks.
Yes.
and everything. Everything was just weird last year with football. But, yeah, I think, wow. Why don't you go ahead and send me that?
What? That's hilarious.
Smokey! Go Balls!
Yeah, shout out Smokey. Smokey.
Go ahead and send me that picture.
All
But I think that, that 10 spot, Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave, even DJ Moore. I mean, there's a lot of good
There's a lot of really good.
So did me and
receivers.
you have the exact same list?
I think so.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here.
I figured as much.
I have Justin Jefferson at 1, Tyreek Hill at 2. If you put Tyreek at 1, I'm not gonna fault you for that. After the season he had last year, I think Justin Jefferson.
You know Jefferson's the best.
Justin Jefferson's a better just receiver,
Yeah.
but I mean Tyreek broke efficiency records. He was unbelievable last year. I have CeeDee Lamb at number 3 personally.
This is where you change.
CeeDee Lamb was unbelievable last year. 135 catches, 1,750 yards, and 12 touchdowns, with 100+ yards on the ground and 2 more rushing touchdowns for the Cowboys. He broke the Cowboys receiver record in terms of yards. You know how hard that is to do?
I am tuning you out
Okay.
now.
Okay. Here's the thing. I have Jamar Chase at 4. This is going to be the Tyreek Hill versus Jamar Chase thing again last year. My difference between the two is Jamar Chase entered the league right here. He's, in terms of statistically wise, I understand Joe Burrow was hurt last year. I get that. He probably would have had a similar season if Joe Burrow stayed healthy. But the fact is, he didn't. Jamar Chase has been pretty equal. CeeDee Lamb has done this. CeeDee Lamb has not gotten worse in any year of his career at all. CeeDee Lamb is easily as good of a receiver as Jamar Chase and all these other guys. He could be number 1 by the time this next year comes around. He is 1 year older than Jamar Chase. He's that good.
The one thing with Jamar is Jamar started here and then peaked here.
I understand
And
that.
CeeDee's been on an upward trend.
Yeah, now CD.
Yeah,
is
like
high.
that's the big difference there because Jamar Chase smashed records as a rookie.
I understand that. And then Puka Nacua smashed his records when he entered.
Yes.
But the point being, like you said, Jamar Chase started here.
Yeah, I understand that. But
CeeDee Lamb
But,
has
there's an
steadily
argument.
gotten
this isn't a 2022 ranking, it's a 2024 ranking, And Jamar Chase is number 4. I'm not saying that he's like being the 4th best receiver in the NFL is not a sin. Okay?
I just find it very humorous how every year the 2 best Bengals players continue to move down.
They don't move down. Jamar's
Because
the
you-
exact same as he was last year.
You are just a Bengals hater.
I'm not a Bengals hater.
But I don't really want to argue this right now because number 1, it is 1 spot. Number 2, I know that me and Evan are right, and number 3, I'm hungry as balls. So, and number 4, CeeDee Lamb is really good.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. That's what I'm saying. CeeDee Lamb is really good. If Jamar Chase could easily be.
And number
3.
5, I spent all of my aggressive arguing power for right now on the Burrow debate, so
Yeah.
I just don't want to argue
Nah,
you anymore. So
that's-
that's why I'm tuning you out.
It's
instead.
not that much.
Yeah, it's not that like.
It's personal.
CD had a better year last year. They're very similar receivers with a worse quarterback. So I'm gonna put CD at number
Well, at
3.
least you're right about that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna put CD at number 3.
Nick would be the guy to come out.
Dak Prescott is
I like him. I think he's
better
pretty
than
cool.
Joe Burrow.
Nick would be the guy to come out and say, well, see, Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb, their quarterback play is really about even. I mean, Joe Burrow might be a little bit better, but I think Dak Prescott is just the gap between those two is razor thin.
No.
Dak Prescott could be better at any given game. That would be a Nick
Cowboys
take.
fans will unironically try to tell you that.
That would be a Nick
I
take.
value regular season play 20 times more than I value playoff.
That would be a Nick take.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's right here. Dak Prescott's right here. In reality, Joe Burrow is here. Dak Prescott is here. That's not close.
I'm glad that you're at least right on that.
Yeah, I just CeeDee Lamb had 500 more yards, 5 more touchdowns, 2 more rushing touchdowns. I understand Joe Burrow was hurt, but
Wait a minute. Repeat that. Compare those stats again between CD and Jamar.
35 more receptions,
Okay.
5 more touchdowns, 500 more yards, and then he had 2 more rushing.
And all of that goes to CD?
Yeah, all that goes to CD.
He only had 500 more yards and how many more?
played one more. 35 more catches. Yeah.
35 more catches, and he only had 500 yards and 5 more touchdowns.
He has more yards per reception too. So
that's not a huge difference, really.
It's not, but he had a better year last year.
Yeah,
and he only played one more game, so it's like.
Well, okay, but here's what I'm saying though. So statistically speaking, that's not a massive difference between the two players.
It's not, but it is a difference.
And CD played one additional game, and he actually had his quarterback in Dak Prescott the whole year at consistent play.
I understand that.
So, the year, last year, CD Lamb was phenomenal last year. Yes, I agree. But the phenomenal term year that we're giving to CD is not even that egregiously better than Jamar, with Jamar playing one less game and not having Burrow for half the season.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
500 more yards.
You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
35 more catches and 500 more yards on more yards per reception is better.
But it's not as.
But it's better. It's better. It's better.
It's not as much better as I honestly thought it was going to be, though. And seriously, you have to think that Burrow, CD had his top 10 quarterback the whole year. Jamar played with Burrow for what? Half the year.
I mean, yeah, but.
That's a significant difference.
If Jamar had Burrow the whole year and they had a statistical stat line, I'd give it to CD because he had a worse quarterback, and he did that with a worse receiving core around.
So you are just straight up a Bengals hater.
I'm not a Bengals
because
hater.
you just admitted to me that even if Jamar had a better season, you would still say CD's better.
No, I'm saying if Jamar Chase had a better season than CD Lamb, I'd have Jamar Chase ranked higher than CD Lamb.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
The fact is he did not have a better season than CD Lamb last year.
I don't think he would.
That's the reality of the situation.
You didn't. I don't think you would, because you would still have Burrow and Chase at 4 respectively for both categories. I think because you just objectively don't like the Bengals.
I don't think that I would. Okay, Jamar Chase did not have as better of a year as CeeDee Lamb. That's the end of the discussion. Number 5, I have Devontae Adams. Pretty similar. Like, I was debating on putting Amon-Ra, but the fact is, Devontae Adams is just QB proof. Like, he's just that guy, even with the Raiders. I have Amon-Ra at 6. 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns on a torn oblique for most of the year is actual psychopath level.
How many yards did CD have?
1,750. Yeah.
He was right behind.
He was right behind Tyreek Hill in terms of yards for last year. But yeah, I have AJ Brown at 7 as well. I have Mike Evans at 8 as well. I heard one of you guys say putting Stephon Diggs at 9 was hard because he regressed. Don't put him at 9. I don't have him on my list at all.
I guess 500 yards is a pretty good amount of yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have DJ Moore at number 9, and I have Brandon Ayuk at number 10. I think Stephon Diggs regressed notably the second half of last season. I don't think he should even be in the top 12 or 13. To be truthfully honest with you, he has regressed heavily the second half of last season. He was a non-factor in the postseason against Buffalo and against Kansas City.
Yeah,
you have to factor that in as well. I have Stephon Diggs at 14. I'm shocked none of you mentioned Cooper Kupp at all last. I know he had not as great of a year as his Triple Crown winning year, but he was still good. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp. I did think about him.
Yeah, I have Cooper Kupp. I have Garrett Wilson. I have Nico Collins, and I have Puka Nacua. Those are my next 4 in terms of elite wide receivers. And then Stephon Diggs is in that conversation as well. But you were like, it was hard putting Stephon Diggs at 9. Why are you just?
Because it's Stephon Diggs.
I know.
See,
you're getting caught up on name though. Stephon Diggs is not the 2020 Stephon Diggs.
It goes back to what I said when we were talking about the quarterbacks. When I do these lists, I tend to go as a player overall career-wise. I'm not going off of just last season.
But it's a 2024 ranking list, you know? Stephon Diggs is not the 2020, 2021 Stephon Diggs anymore. He is not the same receiver. He's lost the step.
I think he still deserves a top 10 rate.
I don't think he's better than DJ Moore or Brandon Ayuk. It also is shocking to me. Yeah. It is shocking to me that the Niners are looking to trade Brandon Ayuk. That is baffling to me.
They're just not going to have him.
I don't care. He is way better than Deebo Samuel as a wide receiver. I know Deebo Samuel can run and do all this stuff and benefits the Niners scheme. If you want a wide receiver 1, Brandon Ayuk he clears him. It's not even a contest.
Yeah.
He's a very pure receiver.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, but you have Christian McCaffrey in the
Debo
backfield.
Samuel's a Swiss Army knife.
You don't need like.
Debo offers you something that very little people can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you can get a crazy trade package for him because he offers you something that no other.
Well, do you want to have a
team
Swiss
can.
Army knife or do you want to have a wide receiver one?
In the Niners situation, I'd rather have a wide receiver one because you have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. You don't need running help. You can get another Debo Samuel.
I think it's the same situation the Bengals are in, where it's just inevitable. You can't pay
Yeah,
top
you can't
dollar
pay
to both of your
I
guys.
think the Niners
So you
are
have to
choosing
do
the wrong
one.
guy.
Because Brock Purdy's probably going to be getting roughly over like almost 280 to like 300 million.
Well, and the other thing you got to think about is,
So-
I mean, in defense of keeping Brandon Ayuk would be Debo Samuel's older.
Yeah, that's also true.
A lot older,
Yeah.
actually.
So I do not know at all why the 49ers are going the Debo Samuel route instead of the Brandon Ayuk route. I think Brandon Ayuk's way better.
Yeah, we might
than
see
Debo
an
Samuel.
extension still. I mean, just because you request a trade doesn't mean anything. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor requested a trade, and now he's still with the Colts.
T. Higgins
So,
requested a trade, and he's still playing for
yeah.
us.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think the T. Higgins saga has fully concluded, but
No, T. Higgins is gone.
yeah, he's going to be gone after.
But I
this
mean,
year.
it's not. We didn't like. It's not like the NBA where we
Yeah.
immediately just. Like,
I also
like,
I have a quick question. Do we think Marv has any chance of cracking this list by next year? I think there's a chance that he
there's
could
a
be in this
chance.
list.
I think he'll be like top 12, 13.
If he cracks top 10, it's going to be 9 or 10.
Yeah, for sure.
I just have to see
but-
how Kyler Murray plays.
Yeah, see that's my uncertainty with Marv, and see also that's why I'm questioning him in fantasy wise because people once again I know we're not talking about fantasy, but like, I mean his ADP is like
Second round.
top second round.
Yeah.
It's like dude's a rookie, never played in the NFL, and he's playing with Kyler Murray, who Kyler Murray is a walking question mark.
No, talent wise, he's probably out there.
Yeah, but
I just gotta see how Kyler does.
and him being in the top 10 is just
But-
in my mind it is solely dependent on Kyler Murray,
He will
who
be
is
in
a
the top 10
walking
sooner
question
rather than
mark.
later.
Yeah, well, I mean, me personally, I think Marv's going to be QB proof. I think he's going to be similar to a Justin Jefferson, Jamar
I
Chase.
love that.
Definitely
I just,
will be.
you know,
He's one of the best shooters I've seen.
Yeah, he's one of the best wide
if he's
receivers.
QB proof, then yes, he'll be top 12.
Yes.
But I am
think-
so unsure about that situation
I think he
in
could
Arizona.
crack the top 10. He'll be close. He'll probably be where like Garrett Wilson is right
Yeah,
now, where
yeah.
he's like knocking on the door and he just needs like another year.
Another
just to
elite
push it
year.
over.
Yeah.
to push him
Because
It's
over.
Devontae Adams will probably drop off here in the next couple of years. Mike
Yeah.
Evans will go out. Some of the guys are a little bit older, so yeah.
AJ Brown might drop off.
It's just like Arizona is just such a like unknown situation. I don't
I thought
know.
Arizona was the
what-
best place for him to go, but we'll see.
Of the options that he has.
Well, I mean, he owns that receiver room. I mean, he has like a monopoly on that receiver room.
And we know what Kyler
it's
can
just-
do when he's fully healthy. He
Yeah.
just has to be fully healthy.
Yeah, well, they got new coaching, and Arizona is just such a question mark. I just don't
But
know.
Marv's a freak, and he's going to be really good. I'm excited to watch him play.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Amari Cooper, Devontae Smith here, but they're not close. I don't think they're close. to the
Not top 10.
Being a top 10
A lot
receiver
of-
in the NFL is like elite.
Yeah, there's so many really good receivers that making a list like this is really hard, particularly when you get into like the 7 to 10 range because there's there's 10 other guys that could be in that
Oh, yeah.
range of 4 spots, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. There's a lot of really really good receivers in this league that we did not shout out, but there's a lot of really good.
of talent at the receiver position.
It's a booming receiver league right now for sure.
Yes. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and comment what you guys think of ESPN's lists. If they were any good or not, what do you think of our lists? And appreciate you guys for watching. See you guys next one. Peace.